Welcome to our Ministry Bite. This is a bite-sized boost for our growth personally and together.
Good to see you guys. Thank you for taking time for watching this video. We have a special bite this month, and there's two of us because we're going to address some of the conversations that have come up frequently across our ministries. So we hope this is helpful to you. So I think one of the questions that we have been talking a lot about together is this whole aspect of being planted in community. Why does it matter so much to us? Even the aspect of, if we're serving in a church ministry, why is it so important that we see across all HCC that we're planted in and we're part of a life group and that we're contributing?
Yeah, I think we're just looking across the Bible as well, like the importance of being in a community. One of the well-known verses, Hebrews 10:24-25, let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. Yeah, I guess it's that beauty of just coming together to just spur one another. How God created a community to look like us helping one another, supporting one another, doing life with one another. But I think just personally, I think that without being planted in a life group, it's almost impossible to do that. It's like life group is people that you see almost every week. It's like a spiritual family together where we do life together.
And I think you bring out some good points, because we don't see life group as a program or as a ministry, but it is just that expression of when we talk about the church community being a family. Obviously at our size, we can say that as an idea or as a belief, but the experience of it is actually outworked in life groups. So why is it so important, if we're already contributing to the church, that we see ourselves, when you use that word planted, like what does that actually look like?
Yeah, I thought of a really good illustration.
Did you?
Which Chris doesn't really approve it, but like a chef professionally cooking in a restaurant. But they only cook in a restaurant, and when they go home, they don't cook for their family at all.
Which is the reality for every chef I know, actually.
Okay, fine.
Now, how about an event planner who refuses to plan her own wedding?
And pay someone else to do it? No, I planned my own wedding, so this is a good application for myself.
Okay, yes, all right.
Yeah. Anyways, my point is just like, you're doing something outside of your home, but when you get home, you don't do what you do outside of your home. And life group is just that family setting to us, that spiritual family where we get together. So be faithful even in smaller setting. There's so much that can be done in the personal level.
It's good.
Even just looking at stories in the Bible with how Jesus have that personal relationship, have that personal touch with people. Most of the impactful moments we can read in the Bible, it's like how Jesus really, for example, having meal with a tax collector, people that they see as sinners, having that healing moment with Samaritan woman at the well, or even the woman that has been bleeding for years. It's that personal touch that he has with people, and of people of Jesus, we want to be like him, right?
Yes,
we want to have that personal touch with people as well. And I personally do believe that it's only possible when we are planted in life group, and we are called to serve, not just serving in the big settings, but the people that we do life with weekly, how do we serve them?
It's great. And I would say we call our church our home, and so what we believe God's called us to as a church, the expression of that is in small groups. It's in our DNA, and that's why we believe that every single person ought to belong to a small group family, and I think the other aspect that I think about a lot for my own life, if I, any of us who are serving, whether it's media or we're dancing on the platform or in the worship ministry, or we're in tech, or we're program managing, I think we can't separate that servanthood from influence, right? It's leadership. And so I think a big part of it is that integrity of the servant. And it would be so difficult, you know, to stand on stage and encourage people to worship or to serve if we're not living that sort of planted life, like you say, if we're not in a community where people are able to speak into our lives to say truth. If, you know, we are happy to do the media, but we're not willing to cook on a Super Sunday, or so I think for me, I think about that. You know, obviously, you know, being able to serve in different areas of the church. But one of the things that really helps me and centers me is that, hey, I still have my small group family that I gather with, that I share life with, that I cook for. You know, regardless of how busy we get, or you know. So I think none of us should ever graduate from that, because it's such an important aspect of our spiritual lives, you know. And so I understand there are things like, you know, people go through seasons of transition, you know, or maybe there are significant things happen in our lives, but I think our progression should always be, you know, God, help me to be living this Hebrews 10 scripture out, help me to be planted in a small group community, a family, so that my life can be one that you use, you know. So I think that's such an important aspect, and that's why that's our heart for all of us, that none of us are just, you know, coming to serve and doing a function, but we're healthy, growing disciples, and the small group is such a big element of that.
Yeah, that's right. Even just myself, like what I find really benefited me a lot, and like just being in that community is from the aspect of accountability as well. It's like when I do life so closely with these people that I see like at least twice a week, it allows that intimacy with them, and it gives them that safe space and confidence to be able to just call me out too if there's areas or things that we want to grow in. Like we always talk about, like we're always growing, you know, in God. We're always growing spiritually. We're in this process of like sanctification. Like God is really just changing so much in us. You know, like I just remember like just last 2 weeks, like someone from my life group just came up to me and tell me like, oh, you know, like there's these areas that, you know, like you could have done better. It's a very humbling moment, you know, but at the same time, it's as well, it's like, wow, it's like if that person don't have that relationship with me, like she wouldn't be able to actually like just tell me those things where I can grow in. And
that's the beauty of community.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we hope this has been helpful. You know, we'd love to continue the conversation. You know, if you guys would love to have a chat, of course, you know, with your team leader as well. But yes, we look forward to seeing all of our teams grow deeper in that aspect of being planted in a small community, in receiving, being discipled, and also growing and contributing as well. Bless you guys. See you soon.
See us.